She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
The autumn of 2024 brought unexpected revelations to the British royal family, when Prince William and Prince Harry made a discovery that would forever alter their understanding of the monarchy's most closely guarded secrets. What began as a routine visit to Clarence House transformed into an investigation that exposed decades of hidden documentation and raised profound questions about loyalty, memory, and the price of royal duty. The discovery occurred during Queen Camilla's extended absence from official duties, a break she had taken citing exhaustion and the need for private reflection. The Queen Consort had retreated to her beloved Raymill house in Wiltshire, leaving behind her London residence in an unusually disheveled state. Staff members, accustomed to her meticulous attention to detail, found themselves confronting an unprecedented situation when they encountered a locked chamber within her private quarters. The room had been sealed for months, with explicit instructions that it remain undisturbed. However, concerns about important documents that might require attention during the Queen's absence prompted the household staff to seek permission from senior members of the royal family. Prince William, as heir to the throne, was contacted first. Upon learning of his brother's unexpected presence at Clarence House that same day, the two princes decided to investigate together. Inside the sealed chamber, they encountered what appeared to be an extensive archive of materials spanning several decades. The collection was methodically organized, suggesting careful curation rather than random accumulation. Document boxes lined the walls, each labeled with cryptic references to dates, events, and individuals connected to the royal family's most turbulent periods. The centerpiece of the collection was a series of detailed journals, written in Queen Camilla's distinctive handwriting, chronicling her observations and experiences from her earliest interactions with the royal family through her eventual marriage to King Charles. These journals revealed a level of documentation that neither prince had anticipated, containing intimate details about family dynamics, private conversations, and strategic decisions that had shaped the monarchy's public image for generations. Among the most startling discoveries were comprehensive files on media coverage, public opinion polling, and detailed analyses of how various royal scandals had been managed and contained. The documentation suggested a sophisticated understanding of public relations and reputation management that extended far beyond what most observers had credited to the Queen Consort. Particularly significant were the materials related to the period following Princess Diana's death in 1997. The archive contained extensive correspondence with media advisors, legal experts, and palace officials, revealing the careful orchestration of Queen Camilla's gradual rehabilitation in the public eye. These documents detailed strategic timing of public appearances, charitable engagements carefully chosen to contrast with past controversies, and even specific talking points developed for use in rare interviews. The princes discovered evidence of a systematic effort to collect and preserve materials that might have been used to counter negative narratives about Queen Camilla's role in the breakdown of their parents' marriage. This included witness statements from staff members, timeline reconstructions of events, and even private communications that painted a different picture of the relationships involved than what had been presented to the public. Most troubling to both princes was the discovery of detailed profiles on numerous individuals who had been close to their mother, including friends, staff members, and charitable associates. These files contained personal information, financial details, and assessments of these individuals' potential to cause difficulties for the royal family's reputation in the future. The archive also revealed the extent to which Queen Camilla had been involved in decisions about how their mother's legacy would be preserved and presented. Documents showed her input on everything from memorial services to charitable foundations, suggesting a level of influence that had never been publicly acknowledged. Among the personal effects, the princes found items that appeared to have been removed from Kensington Palace following their mother's death. These included photographs, letters, and personal mementos that should have been distributed among family members according to Princess Diana's wishes. The presence of these items in Queen Camilla's private collection raised questions about how their mother's estate had been handled in the immediate aftermath of her passing. The discovery also included extensive documentation of the Queen Consort's efforts to manage her relationship with Prince William and Prince Harry themselves. Files contained analyses of their public statements, assessments of their various charitable endeavors, and strategies for maintaining positive relationships despite underlying tensions. Perhaps most significantly, the archive revealed the existence of ongoing surveillance and information gathering about individuals who had been critical of Queen Camilla's role in the royal family. This included journalists, biographers, and even former palace staff members who had spoken publicly about their experiences during the tumultuous 1990s. The implications of these discoveries extended far beyond personal relationships within the royal family. The documentation suggested a level of institutional memory and strategic planning that challenged assumptions about how the monarchy had evolved in recent decades. It revealed the careful construction of public narratives and the systematic management of potential threats to the royal family's reputation. For Prince William and Prince Harry, the discovery represented a fundamental shift in their understanding of events that had shaped their lives. The archive provided evidence of deliberate choices made on their behalf, often without their knowledge, and revealed the extent to which their family's private tragedies had been subject to strategic manipulation for public consumption. The brothers faced the difficult decision of how to address these revelations. The documentation could potentially vindicate Queen Camilla's position in some respects, showing the challenges she had faced and the careful work required to establish her place within the royal family. However, it also revealed a level of calculation and control that seemed to diminish the authenticity of relationships and events that both princes had assumed were genuine. The discovery ultimately forced a reckoning with the nature of royal duty itself. It highlighted the tension between personal relationships and institutional necessities, between private grief and public responsibility, and between individual agency and the machinery of monarchy that operates largely beyond public view. The long-term consequences of this discovery continue to unfold, reshaping relationships within the royal family and raising fundamental questions about transparency, accountability, and the price of maintaining the crown's stability in an era of unprecedented public scrutiny. The prince's response to these revelations may well determine how the monarchy adapts to these new realities and whether it can maintain public trust while acknowledging the complex realities of its own operation, showing the challenges she had faced and the careful work required to establish her place within the royal family. However, it also revealed a level of calculation and control that seemed to diminish the authenticity of relationships and events that both princes had assumed were genuine. The discovery ultimately forced a reckoning with the nature of royal duty itself. It highlighted the tension between personal relationships and institutional necessities, between private grief and public responsibility, and between individual agency and the machinery of monarchy that operates largely beyond public view. The long-term consequences of this discovery continue to unfold, reshaping relationships within the royal family and raising fundamental questions about transparency, accountability, and the price of maintaining the crown's stability in an era of unprecedented public scrutiny. The prince's response to these revelations may well determine how the monarchy adapts to these new realities and whether it can maintain public trust while acknowledging the complex realities of its own operation. The long-term consequences of this discovery continue to unfold, reshaping relationships within the royal family and raising fundamental questions about transparency, accountability, and the price of maintaining the crown's stability in an era of unprecedented public scrutiny. The prince's response to these revelations may well determine how the monarchy adapts to these new realities and whether it can maintain public trust while acknowledging the complex realities of its own operation.